Have you ever wondered how to write one rule in the EST3 software that applies to multiple different output devices so that way you don't have to write each and every one multiple times? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how to use one of the most powerful wildcards in the EST3 program, and that's the N variable. It lets you define multiple output actions in just one rule, especially if you're working in a high-rise building on a voice system. So by the end of this video, you'll understand how to use the N variable, when to apply it, and actually get better as a programmer when it comes to the Edwards system. So let's get straight into it.
I'm going to show you how you can unlock the full power of the EST3 programming by mass N variable. I'm going to show you how to create dynamic rules using index labels, mathematical operations, and conditional logic to simplify your fire alarm configurations across floors and devices. This is perfect for all levels of fire alarm technicians that's looking to level up their game when it comes to Edwards programming. All right. So what is the N variable? By definition, the N variable is a wildcard you insert into object labels to dynamically reference multiple devices using a single rule. It has a valid range from 0 to 32,767. It can only appear once per label, and no wildcards are allowed in a label string, i.e. the asterisk star sign or the question mark. The total label string must be under 255 characters. Now let's look at some examples of how you can use the N variable in your rule equations. So here the basic syntax, we have N semicolon pound sign. That represents a single number. N will be the variable and the floor. So let's start over. If we have a high-rise building, let's say 10 floors, the N will represent any number of floors. The pound sign will represent the floors or the range of floors. So you can have floors 1 through 10, or you could have floors 1, 5, and 10. So you could figure it out how you want to stagger your equations, rather your rules, so you can figure out how you would want to write your rules depending on the sequence of operations. So here's a basic rule example. Up top, we have phone switch. You have to put the label for the type of rule that you're writing to identify the type of rule that you're actually writing or what you're trying to control. And that also needs brackets. So that'll be like the name of the rule. Then next after that will be your input side of the rule. We're looking at switch level, these levels, phone control. So let me break that down. When I press a switch on level 1, 3, and 5 for the phone control, what am I supposed to do on the output side? Now the next line is the output side. I want to turn on the fire phone for the level of whichever button that I press. So let me back it on up. If I hit the switch on level 1, the fire phone on level 1 will turn on. If I hit the switch on level 3, 4, or 5, either individually or all at the same time, those floors will turn on. As you see at the bottom, is going to trigger the level 1, the level 3, the level 4, and the level 5 floors. So depending on how you will write your N variable, this is one way you can control it. And a phone control is only for the Warden phones. You can replace this with the amplifiers. You could turn on one amplifier or the other amplifier. You could replace this with floor above. You could do a bunch of different things with the N variable. So if we're using the N variable for a single location, then all we have to do is identify that floor. So if it's level 5, then it's only N semicolon that level, number 5. And the output side will also correlate to that same level for that output on that particular floor. So the N variable can either work for a single floor or for multiple floors. And the example for the multiple floors, you will either have to use a comma if you're not going in consecutive order, or you will have to use a dash if you're going in consecutive order. So for instance, if I was doing floors 1 through 10, it would be N semicolon 1-10. And then whatever the label is that I'm actually trying to turn on, if it's a phone or if it's an amplifier or if it's a strobe, whatever it is I'm trying to turn on, that will be my label. Or if I want to stagger it and I only want to do 3 floors, then it will be N semicolon 1, 3, 5. That will give the indication of just these floors that I want to control. You will also have to repeat the same thing on the output side. So if you're calling out 3 floors on the input side, you cannot call out 4 floors on the output side. It has to match the same. Now, some of the syntax rules you're going to get, especially if you don't have Gens Editor, the Gens Editor will give you a color-coded rule application to let you know if you're right or wrong. So if it's red, then obviously you got to make some changes. So in order for you to avoid any syntax errors when you're writing rules with the N variable, you could only use one bracket. You can't use 2 of of the carry brackets to, on the input side, it has to cover the whole entire N variable. If you're doing consecutive floors or if you're doing selective floors, everything has to be inside of the bracket. You also have to make sure that the semicolon is there. You got to make sure you're using commas and dashes and colons and semicolons, all these different things. You need to make sure your syntaxes are correct in order for you not to get an error so you can compile correctly. Some of the things that I follow when I'm writing my rules, I make sure my labels are generic. If I'm doing smoke detector, I usually just go SMK 1 through whatever. If it's more than one area, like a elevator lobby, or if I'm doing different functions with the smoke detector, then I would put a dash after the 1 and then put whatever function that it's for. So if it's for the elevator, it'd be smoke 1 dash elevator. If it's all just regular area smokes, it'd just be smoke 1, smoke 2, smoke 3, all the way to however many smokes I have. I make sure I standardize my labels, and I always compile after a certain amount of time just to make sure that when I'm writing my rules, that my rules are going to compile 100% once I'm all the way done. So that is how you use the N variable when you're programming the fire alarm system for an Edwards panel. If you come across a EST3 panel or EST3X on a high-rise build or a system that has a lot of funky controls, this is how you can sum it up by using one rule to do multiple things. If you have any questions about fire alarms, let me know in the comments. If you use the N variable, or let me know how you use the N variable, please let me know in the comments. I'm always looking for easier ways to do things. And don't forget, join the training center. It's 100% free. We also coming out with a NIcet course to get you your CEU credits and an 81-hour course so you can actually get your fire alarm license straight through us. So I appreciate all the love out there, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.